appreciate you guys having me here. Part of what we're going to do is, like you said, discuss more about what you've been learning. I'll start just by telling you more about myself. My name is Shay Flowers, born and raised in California, big Niners and Giants fan. I moved here to go to school back in '92. I went to UTA, and I enjoyed it so much I decided to stay. Once you get used to the cold winters and the hot summers, it's okay. What do? I'm a financial advisor. I'm in the dream business. I help people achieve their dreams, whatever it may be. Everyone has dreams growing up. It starts to adjust as you get older. I think at the career day I talked how I wanted to be a superhero when I grew up. Now, obviously some people think that dream can't come true. I'm kind of holding on to that. You know, they got movies about it, so maybe I can accomplish it. But for right now, I help other people find their dreams. Fair enough? Another goal, or another one of my passions, I'm also the Tcu Rugby Coach. Anyone here ever heard of rugby? Ever played it? It's a blast. I played rugby for 24 years, and surprisingly, I can still walk. It doesn't feel good. Getting out of bed sometimes is rough, but the last 3 years, I've actually just been a coach. It's a lot more fun. Sometimes it's trying, because I want to get out there and play again, but I like my health, so I don't do it anymore. Rugby's actually a really big growing sport, and I just took over the women's program also this year, so we're really growing that. So, for those who are involved and engaged, I actually have a couple of shirts for our team that we'll give out for those who can maybe answer a few questions or possibly ask me a few questions. Sound like a deal? Now, you guys are the only ones that get me in person, so go ahead and wear your shirts around school and show off because no one else is going to get one. Fair enough? Yes. So what we want to talk about is what is project-based learning. Okay, from what I hear, oh, you want to tell me? Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. No. From what I hear, we're having some issues putting it into real-world applications. So part of project-based learning is what I had to do to actually come here and speak to you because I didn't know. So what I found out was it's a hands-on student-directed activity that allows the students to demonstrate what they've learned through different mediums. That sound accurate? Okay. The hands-on approach allows the students to learn from their experiences rather than being told the importance. Being self-taught allows the students to increase academic achievement, understanding, and retention. And this learning method teaches real-world skills, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. And what I think is most important, engagement. In my opinion, project-based learning is really just the next evolution in teaching. I had teachers when I was growing up that had been in business for 30 years. It's hard to teach one way and expect the children to learn because people change. We all change. When I was, my parents growing up, they wanted to punch a clock. They wanted to go work at a place, work. My dad worked at the railroad for 35 years. After 35 years, he clocked out and retired. It's a different generation. As I grew up, I realized I didn't really want to do that. I wanted something more. So my generation got more into working for, getting paid for the type of work you did. More of sales, more of solicitation, more of getting people involved, more growth. Your generation's a little bit different. You guys kind of want to be in charge. You don't really want anyone telling you what to do all the time, right? So we really can't teach the same way. So one of the things that works for you guys is actually teaching yourselves. It's going to help you better understand. Everyone learns at a different rate. Everyone learns and retains at a different rate. So what we do is we allow you to teach yourself. You guys find that beneficial? You guys find it somewhat difficult? Yeah. Is it really hard? And you really can't put it together of how it works. So I'll give you a couple of examples of how I found it to be beneficial in my line of work. Okay? At my office, we have a team. Like I said, I'm in the dream business. The client comes to me and they say, Shay, I want to retire. I want to put my kids through college. I want to buy a big fancy house, a new car. I want to travel the world. It's not as easy. They bring me a stack of paper to do what we need to do, and they say, Shay, make it happen. It's not that easy. So me and my team, we get together. I have one of our associates who actually works on putting the plan together, making sure that all our numbers are correct, and once we put the calculations in, it's going to help them achieve their goal. And we have someone who produces the application, that the clients have to fill out. If that's done wrong, it comes back and we can't achieve our goals. And lastly, I do the presentation. Once the plan is put together, I have to make it real for the clients. I have to make their dreams come true. That's important to me. On the rugby field, it's a little bit different. Anyone here play sports? It's a team. Your team has to work together. What sports do we play?
Soccer, baseball,
Football, soccer, baseball. That's different sports, right? That's not all one sport. Football, soccer, and baseball. So what we do is we look at, let's take baseball. How many players are on the field?
9.
Is it easier to play with 8, 6,
No.
5? No, they have to work together. Why is it important to have a first baseman? So you catch the ball.
So nobody tries to all run to first base, trying to get the guy out.
If I ground the ball to third base, who's gonna throw me out? The third baseman to who? Nobody. So we work together. It's real easy to say, I'm gonna go to the batting cage and hit home runs all day. But you can't do that. Now, the American League, they have this designated hitter, which makes it okay. But you need to work as a team. Rugby is even more specific because most people have never played it. Has anyone here ever played it? You played rugby? Really?
Tried it.
Really? Where at?
Britain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good. Not many people have played, so a lot of the players that I recruit, that I bring to TCU, they've never even seen the sport before. So I can't just say, get out on the field and play. Most of you guys have seen basketball. Say, hey, go shoot a basketball, you know what to do. In rugby, I have to take 30 new players and teach them all how to play. What we do is we actually have them teach themselves. You guys have so much at your disposal to actually make you better at everything you do. When I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. Not because I lived in some small rural town, it's because there was no internet. I know you think I'm old now, but I'm not. Internet is relatively new, okay? But there was no internet. Now all of my players can actually go to YouTube, look up the rules on rugby, look up how to play, look up what in the world is coach telling us, because he's using all these terms that no one understands. Because I tell them, you gotta make a solid pass because you don't want to leave a try wanted. And all of a sudden they blink real hard and they have no idea what I'm talking about. But then they look it up and they know. So everything is at their disposal. So then the next practice when they come back, they can put it all together. They can work together to achieve a common goal. I always consider rugby the #1 team sport because it's 15 people fighting together to get that ball over that line before the other team hurts them really bad. Pretty safe understanding. Those who watch rugby, it pretty much looks like that. One ball, bunch of guys fight. Hopefully someone falls down and they score, right? But there's more to it. We put it together. The same with project-based learning. What we do is you guys get a topic, and what I hear you guys are working on, I guess, camera angles and how to set it up because there's going to be some renovations done here at the school. You have to work together or else we're just going to show, you're just going to be videotaping the wall. That does us no good, right? So what we want to do is make sure that we are all working together. Everyone taking the important part or piece of their project, putting it together, and then coming back as a team. What I mentioned to you was I thought the most important part was engagement. Engagement is the most important part because it gets you involved. It makes you care. I always use a quote, and somewhat relates, when you think your tomorrow will not be better than today, you become disengaged. The same with project-based learning. If you are not engaged in the product, you're not learning. The more you learn, the more you retain. The process actually allows you to teach yourself at your own pace. Can someone tell me another project that you guys have been working on?
Oh, we were working on one for Domino's.
Domino's? What's the project?
We had to come up with like some sort of.
It was an email to Domino's explaining how it should.
We can lower the price.
Like, yeah, how
Lower
to
the
lower
prices.
the prices.
Okay. Do you have one? What's that?
We had to design a shirt for a company.
Mm-hmm.
We had to use the math to see how much each shirt would cost with their max budget.
Now, as far as you guys working together, how many people are in the group?
There are about
4.
4 people. Now, did you work together as far as giving everyone individual roles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How did it turn out?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So tell me about it.
Like the shirt.
Talk loud, Nathan,
Oh,
for me,
we
okay?
designed the shirt and we presented it to Mr. O.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Mr. O'Barr?
You don't know yet.
No, not
You
yet.
know what?
We showed him a website, so we showed him a website, so he could design his own shirt
Uh-huh.
for under his price that he had.
When did you work on this?
Month ago, maybe.
No,
Like,
It's like the first project.
I remember.
First project you did? Okay, so I can tell by what you're saying, you did retain some of the information. The way we use this in real world, and I'll go back to actual work for me, the way we use it, and it's not just, I guess, certain parts of what you learn in school, but I actually use everything in what I do. Whether it's history, whether it's math, heck, I use Spanish if I have to. Yes, I'm bilingual, so it works. I'll tell you, in 2008, the market had a big crash. Your parents probably talked about it. Things got really ugly, and people were really afraid, and we still talk about it. The one thing that I've been able to use in my business, because I follow the stock market daily, is we use history to kind of determine how things are going to continue. We use the past to understand. Was 2008 the first time we had a bad market?
No.
No. Is it going to be the last time?
No.
But every one of my clients thought this was the end. America's going to close the doors and China's going to come take us. It's not going to happen. It's like that movie Red Dawn. The Cubans aren't coming through Canada to take over America.
What are you looking at there, bro?
So what they what I show my clients is how the market has changed, and at the same time how it's done the same thing. In 1933, we had the Great Depression. The market had its pullback, and the following years, we had our greatest recovery. Now, there was also inflation, and I'm using words that you probably care less about, but there was also inflation, which we had to learn from, but our government also learned from it. That's why we have lower rates. That's why our gas now is under $2, which is great, although people are complaining about that. I love filling up my car for less than $30. But what we're able to do is learn from that so we don't make the same mistakes. So I remember in school saying, well, why do I need to learn about California history? What difference does it make? Because if we don't learn, then we're going to do the same thing over again. But we didn't have project-based learning, so I had to learn it the hard way. I had to go, my teacher doesn't know what they're talking about. You know, I can do it my own way. But the way you guys have it now, you're teaching yourself. You're retaining more. You're learning things. Like you said, you said you had to create a website.
No, we had to create a shirt.
A what? A shirt? But I thought you showed them
Yeah, we
online.
showed him a website.
Yeah, we shouldn't go
Okay.
online, so we just buy them one.
Okay. See, that, just having that as an option, I would have to show him a book. I would have to go to an encyclopedia. I had to write out a 40-page paper. You guys can just say, go to this link. It makes it so much easier. You guys learn at such a faster pace. You need to be stimulated in different ways. And you can actually use that to obviously advance further. What other projects have you guys worked on?
Oh, we
Does
did
it have to
children's
include
book.
math? Does it have to be math or?
Yeah,
No, whatever projects you worked on.
we done a children's book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we worked on children's book and history.
Or the
to
website.
Talk about the.
One at a time. Go ahead.
We had to work in history. We had to work on a children's book to talk about the Constitution,
Okay, and what did you tell about it?
like how it all started in like the founding fathers and acts and the